Let's take a look at a detailed timeline of the Ruby Franke situation and everything that's been going on. First, this is Ruby Franke. Behind her is her husband, Kevin Franke, and their 6 children. Ruby Franke started a video vlog on YouTube in 2015, and they called it 8 Passengers. The Franke's oldest child is their daughter, Sherry. She is 20 years old. And last year in 2022, she moved out and basically left her family behind. She wanted nothing to do with them, and she actually posted this on her Instagram account. Their second oldest is Chad. Chad is now 18 years old, and he no longer lives with the family, but no one is really sure where exactly he is, as he's not posting on social media. The next 2 children in the family are the 2 daughters. One is 16 now and the other is 14. And then the 2 youngest, their son, who is now 12 years old, and their daughter, who is now 10. The 8 Passengers YouTube channel took off fairly quickly. During 2015, there were a lot of family vloggers on YouTube and a lot of Mormon family vloggers as well. The channel started off being a typical Mormon suburban family, but things started to get odd with the disciplining that Ruby and Kevin were having with their children, and people started to get extremely concerned. Several videos have become extremely controversial. One of them was this scene where Ruby Franke's in her car and she just received a phone call from Eve's teacher. Eve was just beginning school, so she was 5 or 6 years old, and the teacher said she had forgotten her lunch. She contacted Ruby to ask Ruby to drop a lunch off, and Ruby says she's not going to deliver a lunch because it was Eve's responsibility to pack her lunch and to bring it to school, and she didn't, so this is a lesson learned, and that the teachers at the school better not provide her with lunch. Another controversial moment on the show is when their oldest child, Chad, plays a prank on his younger brother. Apparently, he woke up his younger brother at about 2 in the morning to tell him he was going to Disney World when in fact they weren't. They decided punishment for Chad would be to be grounded from his room for 7 months. So Chad, on one of the video vlogs, announces that he had been sleeping on a beanbag chair as they took his bed from him. People became so concerned over her parenting styles that was all they were posting on her content on YouTube, to the point where she stopped posting. She would post just 2, maybe 3 times a week, eventually stopped posting completely, and in January of 2022, she took down her channel. Now we need to introduce Jody Hildebrand, Ruby's business partner. So Jody was spoken about on the 8 Passengers video vlog on YouTube. Apparently, Jody was the family's therapist. Chad is actually video recorded talking about going to see his therapist, and it turns out it was Jody Hildebrand. In June of 2022, Ruby Franke joins Jody Hildebrand and her Connections website and blog. Basically, it's an advice channel where they give parenting, relationship advice, and a lot of people have noticed it has extremely strong views. This is the Franke family home in Utah. According to police reports, police have actually visited the Franke home more than 15 times over the last 4 years. In April of 2022, police visited the home after neighbors called to say that their 2 younger children were basically playing in the road with no supervision. Another phone call received in September of 2022 was actually from their oldest daughter, Sherry Franke. Apparently, neighbors had been contacting Sherry to say that the children were home alone in the Franke family house with no adults for at least 5 days. Police reports show that the police ended up doing a wellness check that day. When they arrived at the home, they could see the children in the downstairs window, and immediately when they knocked, the children ran upstairs and hid. As the police were leaving, apparently neighbors came out to say that they had video cameras showing that no one had been in the home for adults in the last 5 days. And apparently none of the children had a cell phone or landline to contact emergency services if need be. At this time, it was also claimed that the 2 younger children were being homeschooled and the 2 middle children were actually still going to school. This meant that a 9 and 11-year-old were being left alone in the home while the 13 and 15-year-old went to school. We now know that apparently Ruby and Kevin had separated 13 months ago, and Ruby had been traveling 4 to 5 hours away from her children and their family home to come here to Jody Hildebrand's home, where they would tape the podcast sessions for Connections. It is here in this home where everything went down on August 30th. At 10:50 a.m., a 911 call was made from a neighbor's home, and it was the Franke family's youngest son, their 12-year-old, who had apparently escaped through a window at Jody Hildebrand's home and gone to a neighbor's for help. If you have not listened to the 911 call yet, I do have it in my playlist and you can go check it out. Basically, the police were contacted and said that the child had arrived with duct tape on his wrists and ankles, looking extremely emaciated. He was hungry, tired, and asking for police. When police arrived, he let them know that another sibling was in this home in the same situation. Police immediately went and did a full sweep of the home where they found another juvenile tied up and extremely malnourished. It was their youngest daughter, 10 years old. They took both children immediately to the hospital where they were cared for their malnourishment and severe lacerations and cuts from the ropes and duct tape that they had around their wrists and ankles. After news of the arrest broke, Sherry Franke, their oldest daughter, posted this statement on her Instagram account. Finally, and it's a picture of police outside of the home. Sherry Franke posted this statement. Hi all, today has been a big day. Me and my family are so glad justice is being served. We've been trying to tell the police and CPS for years about this and so glad they finally decided to step up. Kids are safe, but there's a long road ahead. Please keep them in your prayers and also respect their privacy. Ruby's three sisters also shared a joint statement on their social media accounts. That would be Ellie, Bonnie, and Julie. And they basically stated that for the last 3 years, they've been kept quiet about the subject. But now Ruby has been arrested, which needed to happen. Jody has been arrested, which needed to happen. The kids are now safe, which is the #1 priority. On September 1st, Kevin Franke's lawyer, Randy Kester, made a statement on behalf of Kevin, saying that his only concern is keeping the children together and that he did want custody. That same day, Bonnie, Ruby's sister, posted a video statement on her YouTube, but she quickly deleted it because of the backlash she was receiving in the comment section. On September 3rd, Kevin Franke was spotted outside of the Franke family home. He had his pillow and apparently a duffel bag of clothing. People assumed he was moving back in, trying to get custody of the children. That same day, the YouTube and 8 passenger stickers were removed from the Franke family van. The very next day, YouTube spokespeople came out and made a statement saying Ruby Franke was now banned for life from YouTube and the 8 passengers and connections YouTube channels were banned. On September 6th, Kevin Franke's lawyer makes another statement saying that Kevin Franke apparently hadn't seen his children in 13 months. He claims that he was separated from Ruby, and in order for them to work on their marriage and get back together, Ruby didn't want him to have any contact with her or his children, and he did that. On September 6th, Ruby and Jody were officially charged with 6 counts of felony child abuse. They were each charged with 2 counts of a combination of multiple physical injuries or torture, 2 counts of starvation or malnutrition that jeopardizes life, and 2 counts causing severe emotional harm. September 8th was the first court appearance for Ruby and Jody. They were given a court date of September 21st, but Jody Hildebrand's lawyer put forth a motion to expedite the trial, claiming that she had a life-threatening incident. There was also a custody hearing on this day where Ruby Franke threw her youngest son under the bus and basically said that he had been inappropriately touching other children. If you want more information on this, you can check out my playlist for the video. On September 13th, Ruby's sister Bonnie posted another video vlog on her YouTube, and the following day, Julie, Ruby's other sister, posted one as well. Basically, they were both saying that they were extremely upset with what had been going on and that they were going to continue posting content. To see both of their videos, again, you can check out my playlist. On September 16th, Jody Hildebrand was granted her motion for an expedited trial. They moved the trial up from Thursday, September 21st to Monday, September 18th. However, lawyers for the prosecution filed a motion asking for the court date to be postponed, citing an enormous amount of evidence, and that was granted. Apparently, court is now going to be October 5th. If you'd like to stay updated on this case, don't forget to hit follow, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Julie Louise 1975, as I will be going live over there with updates to the case.